This video is a follow-up to one I posted a few days ago called Tinderbox because things have moved on. Now, 18 months ago, if someone told me that the odds-on favourite to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom by the end of the decade would be Nigel Farage, I'd assume they'd been using paint in a confined space. Or I'd say to them, yes, we all know that permanent markers smell nice, but you're not meant to sniff them. But that's where all the polls are. Because, in my opinion, and it is only my opinion, I'm using my right to free speech under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. The last government were useless, the current government are treasonous. And I, like many British people, am getting tired of going to work every day knowing that down on the Kent coast our country is being invaded.
I don't think anybody in London even understands just how close we are to civil disobedience on a vast scale in this country, and I regret saying that. I do understand the genuine upset and anger, and I'll bet you that most of the people outside that hotel in Epping weren't far right or far left or anything like that. They were just genuinely concerned families.
Vast civil unrest, or rioting for short. I couldn't agree more, and of course I don't condone violence, but apparently the government have met in secret, and this is only a rumour, to discuss what to do if and when there's an incident this summer. If another woman gets graped by a Channel migrant, or one of them starts running around with a knife, this country is going to explode. Again, only an opinion. In general though, the British, we are patient, welcoming people. But we're all feeling the pinch from the cost of living crisis, which has got remarkably worse since Labour came into office. We're all feeling poorer, and many of us are wondering, why is it that we're paying for jihadis and perverts to come over here and live in hotels? So, this piece of shit is called Aaron Hadge, an Eritrean illegal boat migrant who'd been living in a taxpayer-funded hotel. This bastard took it upon himself to SA a 19-year-old woman with severe learning disabilities, and when he'd finished interfering with her, laughed at her when she ran off. Thankfully, he was arrested and put on remand. Now he's been charged and found guilty and sentenced to 14 months. Again, Lucy Connolly posted one tweet that she deleted and was sentenced to 31 months. But because he'd been on remand, he was released immediately. The judge, Alistair Rolfe Hamilton, said, quote, "I understand your conditions in prison are more challenging because English is not your first language." Well, fuck him off to a country where it can be understood then. The Bell Hotel down in Epping Forest in Essex remains in the news. Because who would have thought taking a hotel and filling it up with undocumented young men, most of whom come from cultures that haven't moved on past the fucking Bronze Age, and that this hotel is next to a school, that might be a bad idea. But the feeling is different now, because even the PM, Liar Starlin, hasn't been out labelling everyone as far-right thugs. Even the mainstream media are touching on this story. So, the protesters, the people who are usually labelled as being far-right, let's take a look at them.
Save our kids! Save our kids! Save our kids! Save our kids!
Very powerful message. Very powerful message.
Scary stuff. Those women chanting, that's very reminiscent of marches from the SS. And the point of this video is to show people from outside of the UK that is what has been labelled as far right. Now, obviously, there are men there as well, as we'll see later, because if you had a group of women by a migrant hotel, there's a good chance that the inhabitants would come out and do beastly things to them. But that's it. That apparently is far right, being concerned for the safety, mostly of women and children, and for people who don't want their communities invaded by criminals, because that's what they are, illegal immigrants. The clue's in the fucking name. But as I stated a few days ago, in my opinion, the far left, and again, in my opinion, in this country, we have way more of a problem with the far left than the far right. They're trying to stir things up and cause trouble. But down at Epping, something very unusual has gone on.
Bye! Way! I'm not.
So that's the Refugees Welcome Brigade, the counter-protesters, being bussed to and from the protests by the police. Why would the old Bill apparently be trying to create flashpoints? Now, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just saying it's rather unusual. So let's see the counter-protesters.
What's the reason for coming today?
I'm outraged that they think this is okay.
Yeah. What do you think they believe in?
I think that they're scared, probably.
Do they have a right to be scared?
No, absolutely not. Who
Especially
are you scared of?
I mean, there's
Who
been
are
a.
you scared of?
Well, I mean, there's a.
How can they be scared of people who have got nothing? Wouldn't you be running from like civil wars, climate change? Wouldn't you expect people to welcome you?
Of
This
course,
is
I
what
mean,
we're
I mean,
doing.
we should live in a society that's, you know, everyone's welcome, but at the same time, there's got to be surely some security risks with unknown
Why
people.
are you leading me into this?
That's just
I
a
didn't
general
ask to
question.
interview
Go
you.
and start a demonstration
Go
about
on,
homelessness.
Absolutely. I know.
Yes, there they are, with their professionally printed signs calling everyone else a Nazi. Because they simply do not have an argument. People don't have a right to be scared. All right then, love. You put a couple up in your spare room and we'll see how long it takes for your attitude to change. And that these people have nothing? Yes, because they throw their documents and phones overboard on the small boats, so we can't identify who the fuck they are. And they don't have nothing. They have a hotel room. They have all their cleaning done for them. They have 3 meals a day, spending money. And I recently heard from a former employee at one of these hotels, when they arrive in the country, they're asked, would you prefer an iPhone or a Samsung? If they need mobile phones, which they don't, give them a £10 piece of shit that can make calls and send texts. That way they can't get into WhatsApp groups with the black market. And they aren't fleeing from war. I've said this before, but I've never heard of a conflict where all the military-age men run away and leave the women, children and the elderly to do the fighting. They're not fleeing a war, they're fleeing France. And oddly enough, one of the reasons we get so many Eritreans, a country which isn't at war, is because the men are avoiding doing national service. We're importing deserters. So now we'll have a look at one of the gentlemen from one of the hotels. From the background, I think this is Nottingham, being interviewed by the police.
Fuck you up, bitch! Fuck! You're gonna be under arrest. Yeah, fuck you! Fuck you!
I'll find out. He's just
Fuck stop!
been an
Fuck stop!
idiot.
Yo! Stop! Why you stop?
Stop.
Why stop?
Stop.
Why?
Stop it.
You must speak to me why me stop?
I've been very polite.
I don't care you!
Stop.
I don't care you!
Yeah, we
Why
searched
stop?
him now, so-
I don't care
Because you're
you!
gonna
I
end
don't
up
care
getting
you!
stop.
I don't care you!
Just stop.
Yeah, I think I won't die, bro.
If he had been British, he would have been tasered on the floor, handcuffed and in the back of a police van in a matter of seconds. So if you're watching this in the UK, we're paying for him, that man being arrested, we're paying for him to live here and all his expenses. We're also paying the salaries of the police officers, on the rare occasions they aren't dancing at pride parades. Is it any wonder that the powers that be are worried about civil disobedience? So finally, let's go back to Epping and see some of the British public. That's how much we love our Prime Minister. Anyway, I'll stop talking about this subject and go back to mocking half-wits on the internet until something else comes up, so probably by the end of the week. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you can leave a like, a comment or share the video, that really helps me with the algorithm. If you'd like to support me in making these videos, there are links in the description to buy me a coffee and to my Patreon. And as ever, thanks for watching. Vast civil unrest. Oh, fuck. So this piece of shit is... Turn the fucking camera down. There you go. Nazi scum off our streets. Nazi scum off our streets. These are the same people who wave Palestinian flags and are calling for the eradication of Israel. People don't have the right to be scared. They don't have the right to be scared. So some knife-wielding maniac comes out of that hotel And presumably, if you have any... But, well, it's been a while. How many times are we seeing this leaf today?